Eric ran awoke to the still brightly lit break room. It was unchanged, save for that the raindrops falling on the display wall had turned into a downpour. The sound reminded him of the last time his small family had gone out to have a picnic. They had ended up huddled under a tall oak tree as lightning split the skies above. Eric wasn't sure where Panama City was, but the view from the 80th floor of one of its taller towers gave a beautiful view of the surrounding structures. From up so high, it was impossible to see the chaos that ran rampant on the streets below. Riots, looting, fires, and prayers were all taking place in equal measure in cities all across the globe. In many places, governments struggled to stop their nations from tearing themselves apart. When it was clear that humankind was going to lose the one-day war, and badly, all hell broke loose. The Midwestern city that Eric had passed through this morning was in flames, and not because of the ominous vessels in the sky above. Instead, the fear and doubt of mankind was doing a decent job of finishing what the Ajiksa had begun just hours earlier. Eric Wren didn't know any of this. He just wanted to go home. Although he was 10 years old and his mother told him often that he was too old for it, Eric missed his teddy bear badly. Sir Charles he called it, and together they had gone on many perilous adventures. Sir Charles would be of little help against this new adversary, however. Where is Dad? He wondered. The boy brushed the sleep out of his eyes, and with a mighty yawn, he abandoned his spot on the couch. He walked over to the food printer, wondering what kind of sandwich he wanted. In the end, there was really only one option. The machine whirred as it went about its business. A minute later, Eric Wren walked out of the break room with a fresh peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a child-sized bite missing from its crust. Aaron didn't bother to wipe the jelly off the corners of his mouth. He was now on an adventure. Walking down a well-lit hallway, Eric stepped into a small pod suspended above a magnetic rail. Destination? A mechanical voice asked helpfully. Eric yawned again and said, "Take me to Dad, please." There was no response. Then the machine spoke, "Unknown destination. Please repeat destination." Eric giggled, half from being so tired. "Dr. Thomas Wren's office," he said, in the deepest, most official voice he could muster. "Destination accepted. Please hold on," the voice replied. The pod took off. Eric took another bite of his sandwich and glanced out the window at the maze of buildings through which the pod darted and weaved on its way to his father's office. The orbital launch platform offices of Ethereal Concepts was a sprawling complex of buildings, domes, hangars, assembly lines, and power plants. All told, it covered nearly 160 acres of the South Dakota prairie. In the center of the maze of the complex was a huge field. At its core was a massive patch of concrete, a quarter of a mile in diameter, that ringed Ethereal Concepts' bread and butter. A massive structure of steel and concrete created a scaffolding that extended far into the prairie sky. Hundreds of pylons and trusses extended out from the structural supports. At the very center of it all, held aloft by great titanium clamps, was a ship. In fact, it was the ship. Ethereal Concepts had paid their marketing firm $20 million to come up with a name for the vessel. The team had settled on New Horizon. The name had pleased the executives at EC greatly, and when the ship was finished, they had it painted in huge block letters down the side of the vessel. The ship itself consisted of 8 interlocking donut-shaped rings that extended downward. On each side, offset by 60 degrees, were 3 great fins that were attached to rings 4 through 8. They would provide the stability and guidance until they were to eventually be discarded once in orbit. Down the center of the ship, filling the void created in the center of the rings, was Dr. Thomas Wren's engine. The engine alone had enough fissile material to create 25 atomic bombs. All told, New Horizon had cost Ethereal Concepts vast fortunes. But the result was a wonder to behold. Upon reaching Mars, the destination for which the ship was built, the 8 rings would detach from the center column, and then from each other. Using their own fuel and thrusts, the 8 rings would lower themselves gently to the surface of the planet. Then, if everything worked perfectly, 8 self-contained biodomes would extend and create an entire viable city from nothing. The best guess was that Once extended, the biodomes could support 10,000 people. The ship hadn't been designed to transport that many, maybe only 1 or 2,000. The rest were meant to come later. Prototype cryopods lined the inner walls of the stacked rings. They were meant to carry livestock and plant life. Ethereal Concepts were keen to have actual animals and plants on their Mars colony. They said that it made the destination more marketable. Regardless, the ship was a great feat of engineering. It had taken several years and over 1,000 men and women to build. But New Horizon was a monument to their dedication. Though, those who built her called the ship Hope. Hope was just the thing that humanity needed as night descended across the Western Hemisphere. Several miles away, in the dark sky, more than a dozen craft approached the facility quickly and silently, their black hulls reflecting none of the moonlight that illuminated the flatlands of South Dakota. Very soon they would reach their destination. Eric Wren didn't know any of this as he gazed out into the dark sky, wondering where his mother was and if she would be bringing Sir Charles with her when she came. He really hoped that she would. He was starting to get a little lonely. Adventures weren't as fun without a companion. The author's name and the link to original text is in the description. Consider tapping the thumbs up and pressing the subscribe button if you enjoyed this video.